This is how you can start a garden this spring without breaking the bank. Two biggest costs associated with starting a garden are soil and raised beds. I created this entire raised bed space behind me just by using free wood chips and free logs. I called up arborists near me that trim trees and they gladly dumped off a huge load of wood chips onto my property. Because I don't have a lot of invasive weeds in this lawn, all I did was cut the grass really short and then I layered on the wood chips in about 6 to 9 inches thick on top of that really short, almost scalped grass. Then I surrounded the entire bed with these logs that I also got for free. Some arborists will give you both the wood chips and the logs for free, but if they're not willing to part with the logs, I found mine online on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, places like these. A lot of people have cut trees with wood that they're trying to get rid of, and you can source it there. These wood chips have been sitting here for a little over a year. This is what the very top layer looks like, decomposing wood chips. But if I dig down just a little bit, it looks a lot more like soil down there. I can ball this up kind of like I would a handful of soil, and I could realistically just plant into these now. But you don't have to wait an entire year to plant into these wood chips. Some common concerns I've heard with wood chips is that they're gonna rob nitrogen from the soil, but if they're just sitting on top, that's not really gonna happen. Another common concern I've heard is that fresh wood chips will release phytochemicals that aren't good for the surrounding plants. But let me just show you some of these results of what I planted this last year and let those speak for themselves. You can see I planted all kinds of things like potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers, variety of vegetables in first year planted wood chips. So here's how I did it. For plants like tomatoes that like to be planted really deep, I dug a deep hole all the way down to the native soil. I planted my tomato plants as seedlings with the root ball down into this native soil, and the wood chips, I filled in the rest of the hole. For other plants that don't want to be planted so deep and want to be planted directly in soil, here's what I did. I dug a hole down to the native soil, then I filled in that hole with just a handful or two of additional soil, then I planted my seedling and again filled in the rest of the area with wood chips. Right now in January is a great time to start a raised bed like this because that will give you a couple months of decomposition before spring rolls around.